What's life in China really like today? I traveled 5 megacities in 1 week and will not just show you where 1.4 billion people, or better said, 17% of our world's population live, but I will show you what is going on there from a tech point of view, car innovation and its visible impact on European car manufacturers, robotics, infrastructure development, and real smart city applications. I will show you how China has transformed into an ultra-modern country. We will start far east with the megacity of Shanghai. Take a deep breath while enjoying a show on the lake of the fastest growing city of China and home of Alibaba, and make the 1,200 kilometers to Beijing with a bullet train in just 4 hours, before going west and exploring a region that has seen one of the most impressive transformations in recent years, now emerging as one of China's top honeymoon destinations. And of course, we go to the tech capital Shenzhen. If you want to make the same trip, I obviously put all the places I have been, the hotels I stayed, and the food I enjoyed in the notes. If you thought that life in New York is fast, you have not been to China. The speed of this country is breathtaking. I was so flashed by this trip and hope that it will help you to understand where China is moving. And it's moving fast. Let's get started. First stop, Shanghai. I arrived in Shanghai at the end of February, a perfect time to travel and to catch the first sunny days of spring, with temperatures reaching up to 28 degrees. Chinese New Year had passed just a few weeks earlier, so all the shops had reopened. During that time, Shanghai feels almost empty, as many locals travel to visit their families outside the city. Now, the city was full of life again, but without the usual crowds of Chinese or international tourists. After landing at Pudong Airport, I took the famous Shanghai Maglev train. It's been running since 2003, and even today, it still feels like science fiction. The ride takes just 8 minutes to reach the city, hitting a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour. And while this is already impressive, China is currently working on a next-gen maglev that could reach up 1,000 kilometers per hour. Yes, you heard that right. The future is already on the rails here. My first impression, everything is very tidy and clean. The city is changing. You see the famous skyscrapers, and will also be able to still recognize architectural remnants from the foreign concessions period. As the city continues to grow, some traditional neighborhoods are being modernized with new buildings designed to blend the charm of old Shanghai with the needs of today's residents. Shanghai presents itself as a flagship of modern China, showcasing its global-facing identity, innovation, and urban design. Shopping malls and food courts are often integrated into attractions, a seamless blend of culture, convenience, and commerce that reflects the way modern life works in China today. On the train, it's common to see people watching product reviews, live streams, and browsing deals. And Chinese consumers really value convenience, and the service economy here reflects that. With fast-paced city life and long working hours, delivery services have become an integral and ultra-efficient part of daily life. From food to shopping to laundry, everything is just a few taps away on an app, and delivery is done with thousands of electric scooters you see rushing through the city. Apparently, there's even a growing trend of live personal shopping, where real human consultants help you to choose the right product on the spot. It's a blend of e-commerce and personal service. Following my fun cultural discoveries, in the hotel room, I found water at room temperature and cold water in the fridge, but at reception, it's served warm. Why? In China, drinking hot or warm water is a norm. It comes from traditional Chinese medicine, old habits when water had to be boiled for safety, and there is a belief until today that it helps digestion. Smoking isn't allowed everywhere. In fact, Shanghai has some of the strictest regulations I've seen in Asia. The cocktail culture is booming. Barkeepers mix imported spirits with Chinese ingredients, showing how the scene evolves with global and local tastes. In the heart of Shanghai, under the shade of umbrellas in People's Park, love takes on a different rhythm. Every weekend, proud parents gather not for themselves, but for their grown-up children. Here, love is a family affair, shaped by care, legacy, and a touch of old-world charm. The Shanghai marriage market isn't just about finding a partner, it's about finding connection the old-fashioned way, a timeless ritual, nestled in one of the world's most modern cities. A few years ago, iPhones were status symbols. Today, I mostly see Chinese phones on the subways. It's a clear message. Apple's facing serious competition now, and Chinese smartphones are leading in performance and camera tech. Shanghai, a city of 25 million, has undergone a stunning transformation over the last few years, especially when it comes to transportation. Once known for its traffic noise and endless engine hums, the city has become surprisingly quiet. Back in 2018, electric vehicles made up just 8% of Shanghai's car fleet. By 2024, that number had surged to over 50%, and some estimates say it already hit 70%. To push things even further, Shanghai enforces strict anti-honking rules. Advanced acoustic cameras are installed citywide to detect and fine drivers who honk unnecessarily. All this means, despite being one of the biggest cities in the world, Shanghai feels calm, quiet, almost serene. Why are electronic vehicles so popular in China? One big reason: cost. Charging an EV at home in China costs just 12 cents per kilowatt hour. In Germany, it's nearly 3 times that. Public charging? Still cheap in China, only 18 cents, while the US jumps to 40 cents at public stations. It's a massive difference. And it's not just luck. China maintains low electricity prices through strategic energy policy and infrastructure investment, making EV ownership more accessible for millions. But it's not just about the electricity costs. The purchase prices of EVs are also very competitive, and these aren't basic vehicles. Chinese EVs are modern, sleek, and packed with high-end features. Huge infotainment displays, even for rear passengers, massage seats, built-in coolers, USB-C ports everywhere, and wireless charging as standard. While Western car buyers once obsessed over perfect panel gaps, Chinese consumers are now focused on tech, comfort, and convenience. And the local automakers deliver at a fraction of the price. And China's not stopping there. As of early 2025, NIO operates over 3,100 battery swap stations across the country, performing nearly 100,000 swaps a day. Pull in, swap your battery in under 5 minutes, and drive off. They plan to reach more than 2,300 counties by year-end. Battery giant CATL is also jumping in, targeting 10,000 swap stations by 2025. Meanwhile, BYD recently launched its Super E platform, a breakthrough that adds around 400 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes of charging. That's twice the speed of Tesla's top chargers. Over 4,000 of these ultra-fast stations are now in development. These developments are contributing to a significant transformation in the global automotive landscape. In 2024, China exported 6.4 million vehicles, surpassing traditional leaders like Japan, Germany, and the US. It's a remarkable shift that reflects the pace of innovation and manufacturing in the sector. As market dynamics evolve, some established global brands are adjusting their strategies in China. Mercedes-Benz has announced plans to streamline up to 15% of its sales and finance positions in the region by 2027. BMW reported a 28% drop in sales in 2024, and Porsche saw a decline of over 13%. Meanwhile, Chinese companies are actively investing in the future. Xiaomi raised $5.5 billion to support its entry into the electric vehicle market, and BYD secured $5.6 billion to continue expanding its EV operations. These moves highlight how both domestic and international players are navigating a rapidly changing industry. Even autonomous driving is in live testing here. In Shanghai, mobility is powered mostly by Didi, which is like Uber, but with an edge. The app connects directly to traffic lights, knowing exactly how long each red light will last. If you're a foodie, you have to do a food tour with Jim. He's an incredible local guide who showed me places I'd never find on my own. The food was amazing, and so were the stories. At a tea house, Jim told me how coffee culture in China has exploded. Starbucks is everywhere, but Chinese consumers weren't content with just being customers. They launched their own coffee brand, Luckin Coffee, now with thousands of locations across the country. And the price? just a fraction of Starbucks. Social status and presentation carry cultural significance from wedding photos on the Bund to photo shoots in romantic settings. After weddings, couples often get professional photos taken on the Bund. Others travel to areas like a replica of the Paris Eiffel Tower just for the perfect photo shoot. But trust me, even more surreal honeymoon spots are coming up later in the trip. Let's keep moving. From the glass towers and tech pulse of Shanghai, I headed west, just a short ride on the bullet train, to one of China's most elegant and historic cities, Hangzhou. Business class tickets cost around €30, and while the lounge at the railway station wasn't anything special, they did offer snacks and delicious tea. The seats on board? Incredible. Fully reclinable, ultra comfortable, you could sleep the entire way. Too bad the trip is only 1 hour. And along the ride, it's impossible not to notice. Construction is everywhere. New buildings, new roads, and those 5G towers literally every 500 meters. I've never seen that many antennas. Arriving at Hangzhou East Railway Station felt like arriving at an airport. The station is gigantic. There's even a dedicated parking garage just for rideshare apps, with monitors that tell you exactly where your driver is parked. It's designed to move millions of people, and it works. But that's not even their biggest station. The city recently completed an even larger one, Hangzhou West Railway Station, at a cost of $5.7 billion. It's now one of the largest and most advanced train stations in the country, connecting western districts and national high-speed lines. Infrastructure here is on another level and is designed for millions of people. So what do you think? How many train trips do Chinese take during the 8 days of Chinese New Year? Sit down, because the number is massive, 510 million trips. That requires an appropriate infrastructure. Ahead of the 2016 G20 summit, Hangzhou invested over €66 billion to modernize the city roads, parks, the famous West Lake, and public facilities. The transformation turned it into a top domestic tourist destination. Since then, Hangzhou's population has exploded, now over 12.5 million. But Hangzhou isn't just a pretty face. It's home to Alibaba, DeepSeek, and Unitree Robotics, and you can feel the tech influence everywhere. Yet, unlike Shanghai, traffic here can be surprisingly heavy, even on weekends, a reflection of rapid growth, tourism, and urban life converging. But then you reach the lake, and it's magical. From a suburb full of massive apartment blocks, you suddenly arrive in what feels like a fairy tale world. The lake is huge. The hotel is grand. The whole area feels European, completed with bike lanes and trees everywhere. Locals ride electric golf carts around the lake. It's peaceful and beautifully maintained and designed for ease and enjoyment, but can also be packed, especially on sunny weekends. Hangzhou is also famous for tea, so I headed to the National Tea Museum. It's interesting, though, it was totally empty when I visited. If you want a proper demonstration, definitely book ahead. The highlight was hiking in the nearby tea mountains. There, I met 2 graduate students studying computer science in Shanghai. We talked about cars and phones, and once again, I heard the same message. Price, price, price. More tech, fewer extras, better value. Local brands deliver more, and they're proud of it. And yes, they were right. Just look at BYD. In February 2025, they launched God's Eye, a high-end driver assistance system, now included in nearly every model, even the 9500 Seagull hatchback. Automatic lane changes, obstacle avoidance, and remote parking. Tech that used to cost a fortune is now standard in Chinese mass-market cars. We also talked about lifestyle. Neither of them smoked. They had thoughtful takes on social media and preferred moderation and purpose over constant scrolling. But if you walk the streets or ride the subway, you'll see people on their phones constantly, so no difference to our world back home. And if you scroll through Chinese social media, you'll find some wild stuff. For example, Robot Zhao Zhao, a performer in a hyper-realistic bodysuit, pretending to be a humanoid robot. Performance art meets tech. You will also see bungee fitness. Yes, you bounce around in a harness while working out. And last but not least, Kangoo jumps, which are bouncing shoes that make cardio look like a trampoline party. China for sure knows how to entertain. Oh, and one more thing. Be careful when hiking near the tea plantations. Some natural areas are designed for easy access and comfort, blending the outdoors with user-friendly infrastructure. But here's the thing. Chinese people love it. If you understand that Chinese tourism is built differently, then traveling becomes way easier. One last recommendation. Don't miss the stunning lake show in Hangzhou, originally created for the G20 summit. A magical blend of lights, music, and water. Just enjoy and let the pictures speak for themselves as we say goodbye to Hangzhou and move on to our next destination. I arrived in Beijing by bullet train 1,200 kilometers from Hangzhou in just about 4 hours. The South Station felt a bit outdated compared to Hangzhou. The design is older, and the route out of the station? Not great. Lots of stairs. Not ideal when you're dragging luggage up to meet your Didi driver. And then traffic everywhere. With thousands of delegates gathering for the National People's Congress, the city gets busier than usual, with added security and road closures. It's a big moment on the national calendar, and it shows. Good thing Beijing's subway system is huge, though it's clear that it hasn't had the same facelift as Shanghai's. The stations feel a bit old school. When the doors close, you hear an ancient bell chime. It feels like you've gone back a decade or two. The distances between attractions are long, so plan your day wisely. Now, I'm not going to list all the tourist sites as you will find tons of videos, but definitely visit the Palace Museum, also known as the Forbidden City. It's huge, majestic, and full of history. Get the audio guide. It's worth it. Sadly, I didn't have time to hike up to Jingshan Park for the view over the complex. Maybe next time. One thing I highly recommend: an evening food tour with Lost Plate. Check the notes below for a discount code. The tour takes you into the hutongs, which are narrow alleys full of traditional courtyard homes. These neighborhoods date back to the Yuan dynasty, once home to a diverse mix of residents. They're now primarily home to Han Chinese families. Though compact and traditional, these historic homes are some of the most sought-after properties in Beijing, prized for their heritage and central location. You can find a luxury car parked next to a modest scooter. It's a snapshot of old meets new, tradition meets modern. Some of these homes are inherited and rarely sold, a luxury that keeps prices sky high. Let's talk cars. I took a Didi to a Beijing suburb packed with car dealerships. Why? I wanted to see the Xiaomi SU7, and wow. Depending on the version, it costs between 28 and 68,500 euros. In contrast, the Porsche Taycan starts at 136,000 euros. Porsche sold just under 57,000 cars in 2024. Meanwhile, Xiaomi sold over 160,000 SU7s. The Ultra version alone received over 10,000 orders on day one. Rather than replacing each other, these brands now coexist in a highly competitive space. I also checked out the Stellato S9, a luxury car from Huawei with massage seats, a projector for movies, and loads of space. The costs around 60,000 euros. And there is also this futuristic van from Li Motors. Take a look at this American influencer who can't believe what he is seeing. As I walked a bit further down the street, I stumbled upon a massive parking lot full of brand new cars, some of them still wrapped in white transport film, untouched for months. The brand? Volvo. Year? 2024. The models? I think light hybrids, the kind that are still in high demand across Europe. These cars come with a tiny battery that at best assists the fuel injection system. They can't even drive 1 single meter on electric power alone. In a market moving so rapidly toward full electrification, light hybrids are increasingly seen as a stepping stone, whereas China is accelerating directly into full EV adoption. What's a trip to Beijing without seeing the Great Wall, right? I booked a day tour to Gubei Water Town and the Simitai section of the Great Wall. Sounds epic, right? It's a full-day adventure from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But here's the thing. The listing mentioned a guide, and while most of the tour is self-paced, it's still a great way to explore independently. Just something to know in advance. So, if you're looking for detailed historical insights, you may want to book a specialized guide separately. Let's talk about Simitai. It's one of the lesser-known sections of the wall, and that's exactly what makes it special. Simitai is only about 80% rebuilt. It gives you a vivid sense of history, imagining ancient guards watching over this strategic stretch of the wall. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. When I arrived, I was struck by how perfectly designed Gubei Watertown was. While recently built in 2017 with a $1.2 billion investment, it's a carefully crafted reinterpretation of ancient Chinese architecture blending traditional aesthetics with modern comfort. And it offers a photogenic and immersive experience that clearly resonates with domestic travelers. But here's where it got weirdly amazing. Because of the Communist Party Congress in Beijing, most locals avoided traveling that day. So Gubei? Completely empty. Imagine walking through a massive ancient town all by yourself. It felt surreal, peaceful, quiet, and almost dreamlike. A rare moment of stillness in a place usually bustling with life. From the town, there's a cable car that takes you up to Tower 8. From there, it's just a short, scenic walk to Tower 10. And the views? Absolutely breathtaking. You can also go up again around 5:30 in the afternoon to catch the sunset, which is highly recommended. Just don't stay too late hoping to see the wall lit up at night. That famous night view? You only get it from below in the village, not from up on the wall itself. Honestly, we got lucky with the timing, but I really wouldn't want to imagine this place on a Saturday. Gubei is one of the most popular tourist destinations in China, and on weekends, it gets packed with families from Beijing. So here's my tip. If I did it again, I'd skip the full-day tour. Just book a Didi in the late afternoon. Head up around 4 or 5 p.m., enjoy the golden hour, catch the sunset, and leave by 7. Even better, book a private driver so you're not relying on finding a ride in the middle of nowhere. Was it worth it? Definitely. Would I do it the same way again? No. But hey, that's what traveling is about. All right, it is time to say goodbye to Beijing. Next stop, Dali, and just to clarify, it's pronounced Dali and not Delhi. So no, we're not heading to India. Now, at first glance, Dali doesn't feel like a megacity, and technically, it isn't. But don't let that fool you. This region has gone through one of the most impressive transformations I've seen in China. What's happening here is nothing short of remarkable. The center of it all is Erhai Lake. It's shaped like an ear, hence the name Ear Lake, and it's one of the largest freshwater lakes in China. Just a couple of decades ago, this region faced economic and environmental challenges and was far less known to travelers. Then came the shift. When a development goal is set, you see long-term planning. This wasn't just a temporary project, it was part of a broader strategy with long-term goals in mind. Between 2013 and 2020, China's targeted poverty alleviation campaign successfully lifted all 11 counties in Dali Prefecture out of extreme poverty, improving the lives of more than 400,000 people and marking a major milestone in the region's development. At the same time, a coordinated effort followed with major environmental cleanup campaigns, infrastructure upgrades, and sustainable development plans led the transformation. Erhai's water quality rebounded fast. Since 2016, it's been rated good to excellent. So restoring the lake was part of a broader long-term vision while creating new opportunities for the people living around it. Infrastructure rolled in, railways, tunnels, and highways connecting rural Yunnan to the rest of the country. A good example is the expressway between Dali and Lijiang, including the Shuanglong Tunnel, which reduces travel time by half and cuts straight through the mountains. Dali today is booming. Young creatives and remote workers from Beijing and Shanghai are moving here. Homestays have popped up all around the lake. There's a university, cafes, and a wedding industry that's gone completely over the top. Seriously, I've never seen so many pink convertibles, all rented by couples taking wedding pictures. There are safety nets on cliffside photo spots. Romantic music plays from every cafe. And let's just say the hotel was clearly tailored to honeymooners right down to the amenities in the drawer. Dali knows its audience. Everything feels fresh, clean, and modern. Solar-powered streetlights, quiet electric scooters. When I landed at Dali Airport, I immediately got a welcome SMS from the local tourism bureau inviting me to a food festival in Weishan. This isn't a coincidence, it's strategy. Dali is now one of China's most popular domestic destinations. a region that transformed from agricultural heartland to one of China's most desirable destinations in under 2 decades. So no, Dali isn't a megacity, but the Dali Yunnan region is a mega example of what happens when infrastructure, vision, and policy line up. Whether you're here for the scenery, hiking, or the honeymoon pictures, Dali is unforgettable. And just when I thought Yunnan had shown me everything, a legendary hike awaited me, the Tiger Leaping Gorge. To get there, you'll pass through Lijiang, a city that's worth the detour. But the real magic starts on the trail. I stopped by a local hiking shop in Lijiang the day before, picked up some basic gear, and they helped me to organize the transfer to the trailhead. I was even offered to send my backpack ahead to my final stop at Teacher Zhang's Inn. Sounded great, but there was a mix-up with the backpack delivery. Classic travel moment. Still, this is China. 2 days later, the bag was exactly where I left it. Just a reminder to always double-check with the driver and be ready to roll with it when things go off script. I decided to hike solo, no guide. So I prepared for 2 possibilities. Either it would be remote and wild with no services, or totally commercial with food stalls and phone reception. The reality was somewhere in between. There's full mobile coverage all along the trail, and you can forget to bring cash with you. Even the trail mascot, a larger-than-life tiger statue, accepts mobile payments and is ready for your photo shoot. After about 3 hours of easy walking with plenty of photo stops, I reached the Tiger Leaping Gorge Tea Horse Guest House. And wow, this place has a terrace that looks straight over the gorge. They serve oat milk cappuccinos, homemade cheesecake, cold local beer, or if you insist, even a Franziskaner. For a second, I felt like I was in the Alps. Could you do the whole trail in 1 day? Technically, yes. But don't. Stay overnight. Take it slow. And if you like it fancy, there's even a more upscale guest house nearby with bathtubs on the terrace and the option to order a whole roasted suckling pig for dinner. In China, everything is possible. Next morning, I hit the trail again around 9:30 and continued along the upper path to the end of the gorge. You're not alone on this route. You'll see other hikers and local villagers offering rides on mules or snacks. But the trail itself? Absolutely stunning. Snow-capped peaks in the distance, towering cliffs, the roaring river below. It's a hike you won't forget. Enjoy the countryside and let the pictures speak for themselves. At the end of the track, I hiked down to the river itself. It's a steep descent, but doable in 1.5 to 2 hours round trip. Standing there, beside the roaring Jinsha River squeezed between vertical cliffs, is a powerful experience. And just when I thought the journey couldn't get more epic, it did. After Tiger Leaping Gorge, I kept heading north. The highway, brand new and smooth, just kept climbing. That's when it really hit me. This road doesn't stop at Lijiang. It keeps going, all the way to Shangri-La and beyond, towards Tibet. What started back in Dali with the Shuanglong Tunnel and the expressway is part of a massive infrastructure push to open up China's far west. Not just for tourism, but for connection, logistics, and opportunity. National Road 214, once a slow, winding mountain road, is now a modern north-south lifeline. It links cities like Dali, Lijiang, and Shangri-La, and stretches all the way into Tibet. Since 2015, it's been upgraded in sections, cutting travel times dramatically and connecting isolated regions to the rest of the country. I followed that road deeper into the mountains and ended up at one of the highest hotels I've ever stayed in, the High Mountain Resort, Meili Hotel. Before going to bed, I got to sit down with 2 brothers I met during my hike and enjoyed 4 hours of hot pot, a traditional dish that's incredibly delicious and, as you can imagine, seriously spicy. Waking up at the High Mountain Resort is something else. Views straight onto the Meili Snow Mountains, the sacred peaks to Tibetan Buddhists. Waking up to the sunrise here felt almost spiritual. The light touches the snowcap slowly, casting golden light over the mountains. It's silent, freezing cold, and absolutely breathtaking, literally. You're high up, and the air is thin. I'm not usually that sentimental, but this moment is pure joy, and I'm so grateful to be here. On the way back down, I stopped for a night in Shangri-La. The name sounds mythical, and in a way, the place is too. It blends tradition and modern tourism in a way that connects deeply with how many travelers experience cultural heritage today through revitalized, beautifully maintained spaces. Just outside the city center, you'll find something special: the Songzanlin Monastery. It's the largest Tibetan Buddhist monastery in Yunnan, and it's alive. Monks chanting, incense wafting through the air, bright prayer flags fluttering in the cold wind. It's surrounded by science buildings and new development, but somehow, the monastery holds its ground, a timeless anchor in a fast-changing world. And if you're wondering how remote this place is, Shangri-La even has its own airport. Remote doesn't mean disconnected anymore. That's the story of this whole region. From tunnels and expressways to high mountain hotels and active monasteries, Yunnan is proof of what's possible when long-term planning and bold infrastructure meet rugged terrain. While my plane approached landing in Kunming for a stopover, I glanced out of the airplane window and couldn't believe the scale of what I saw. Cranes, scaffolding, giant steel frames. It looked like an entire city was being built from scratch. Most people outside China have probably never even heard of Kunming, but something big is happening here. This city is transforming fast, and it's about to become a major player in the region. A key part of that transformation is Terminal 2 at Kunming Changshui International Airport. The numbers are wild. Height, 69.2 meters. Total area, 730,000 square meters. Designed in collaboration with Gensler, the U.S. architecture firm also known for global landmarks like the Shanghai Tower and dozens of other global icons. Once completed, Terminal 2 will be the largest airport terminal Gensler has ever designed, and it's not just about size. It's built to handle 95 million passengers per year. That makes Kunming not just a city, but a gateway to Southeast Asia, to trade, to tourism. It's a strategic hub in the government's broader plan to develop Yunnan and link it with China's neighbors. You may not hear much about it, but Kunming is rising fast. From mountain monasteries to rising skylines, my final stop was a symbol of modern China's boldest ambitions, the one and only Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a city that never ceases to amaze. Once a humble fishing village, it's now a sprawling metropolis with over 17 million residents. In just about 40 years, it has grown into one of the most dynamic places on Earth, home to tech giants like Huawei, Tencent, and DJI. It all started in 1979, when Shenzhen became China's first special economic zone, a pioneering move that sparked one of the most remarkable urban transformations in the world. By the 80s and 90s, factories were booming, especially in electronics and textiles, and the city started expanding fast. In the 2000s, Shenzhen became a global tech powerhouse. Skyscrapers rose, infrastructure took off, and modern city planning reshaped the skyline. Since the 2010s, it has evolved into a major financial and innovation center, now a model for smart urban development around the world. Walking through the city, I explored the Huaqiang Electronic World, a massive market where you can find every electronic component imaginable. And it's not just electronics. There are markets for literally everything you can think of. The city's growth is relentless. In the Qianhai district, I saw the new Qianhai Museum under construction, designed to be a major cultural landmark for Chinese heritage and future development. But that's just the beginning. Qianhai is part of a huge government initiative to build an entirely new urban core, with 12 planned public landmarks, new financial centers, and future city zones. It's not just one museum, it's a whole new generation of suburbs rising from scratch. Shenzhen is often called the Silicon Valley of China, and it lives up to the name. The city is pushing boundaries in robotics and autonomous driving. Innovation is everywhere. One evening, I visited the Sky Bar at the Mandarin Oriental. The view from the 79th floor was just stunning, overlooking the Upper Hills complex, one of Shenzhen's most impressive developments. Over 300 brands, rooftop gardens, and one of the tallest towers in the city. It's luxury and modern tech in one place. And even the everyday moments in Shenzhen are something else. One day, I got into a super old electric Didi taxi with over 1.5 million kilometers on the meter. The car had clearly seen many years on the road, but it still ran incredibly well. Smooth ride, no rattles, doors closed perfectly, suspension felt solid, and the air conditioning ice cold. This showed me that Chinese electric cars aren't just there, they're already passing long-term stress tests. Last but not least, I really want to break a stereotype here. Chinese people are incredibly hospitable. Sure, you won't always get a hug like in Spain, but hey, same goes for Germany. What I found everywhere I went, from cities to countryside, was that people were warm, helpful, and genuinely interested in making me feel welcome. A shared tea, a smile, a little help with directions, it all adds up. So don't let anyone tell you that Chinese people aren't friendly. They absolutely are, just in their own unique way. That wraps up my journey through 5 of China's most fascinating megacities. I hope you enjoyed the ride, saw something new, and maybe got inspired to experience it yourself one day. More information you find below in the notes. And hey, this was actually my very first video. If you liked it, let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and most importantly, subscribe. It really helps and motivates me to keep going. Stay tuned because next, I'm heading to the largest city in the world. And yep, it's in China too. See you there.